Hey, it's NPR's Book of the Day. I'm Andrew Limbong. Sure, we've all got family secrets. I bet there's tons of stuff our grandparents did that we have no idea about. But my grandparents, and I'm guessing yours, weren't heads of state. But Rich Benjamin's was. His grandfather was president of Haiti. Granted, it was only for 19 days, but that makes his story even more enticing. And yet, Benjamin heard nothing about his grandfather growing up. He's got a new book out now titled Talk to Me about trying to uncover his family's history. And he talked to NPR's Martínez about how he circumvented the wall of silence erected by his own family. That's coming up.
This message comes from Charles Schwab. When it comes to managing your wealth, Schwab gives you more choices, like full-service wealth management and advice when you need it. You can also invest on your own and trade on Thinkorswim. Visit schwab.com to learn more. This message comes from Warby Parker. What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost, like free adjustments for life. Find your pair at warbyparker.com or visit one of their hundreds of stores around the country.
Author and anthropologist Rich Benjamin's maternal grandfather, Daniel Fignolé, was the president of Haiti for 19 days in 1957. His short-lived presidency ended when the Haitian armed forces broke into the presidential chambers, forced him at gunpoint to sign a resignation letter, and then exiled him to New York City. Soon after, the brutal reign of François Duvalier took over Haiti. Now, despite his grandfather being the leader of a nation, Benjamin didn't know much about him. The desire to fill in those gaps are the core of Benjamin's new family memoir, Talk to Me. Rich Benjamin joins us now. So, Rich, let's begin actually where your book ends. You rushed to Haiti soon after the earthquake in 2010. How much did you know at that point about your grandfather?
I had known relatively little about my grandfather by the time I rushed to Haiti in 2010. I had vague snippets here and there. He had been president. He had been the leader of several labor unions, but I didn't know much about his personal life. I didn't know that much about his family, how he was raised, or what led to his ejection from his country.
So what led to your grandfather being a person of interest for the CIA? I mean, what was the reason for it?
So at the time, beginning in 1946, my grandfather was the leader of labor unions in Haiti. And when I say labor unions, he represented sugar harvesters. He represented people who worked in the fruit industry. He represented people who were in factories, people who cut sugarcane. And often these people were working for multinational or U.S. corporations, such as the Haitian American Sugar Corporation or Standard Fruit. So he was very effective at his job. He helped workers raise their salaries. He helped workers get better conditions. And so he was a big person of interest. And what I found in the record is U.S. corporate executives contacting Washington or contacting the embassy in Haiti saying very explicitly, we don't like this guy.
Don't like him because, what, he's a threat to their profits?
He's a threat to their profits. He's a threat to their domination of the Haitian labor industry. He's causing too much trouble. Rabble-rouser is the word they used in these confidential reports. In one of the more comical confidential memos I discovered was sugar executive telegrammed the White House and said begrudgingly, sure, he's not exactly a communist, but he's a fellow traveler.
Were you ever told anything through other family members? I mean, did nothing else kind of seep in?
Nothing seeped in from my family members. And looking back, it feels surprising to me, too, that nothing got through. But there was a real tight wall of silence, particularly coming from my mother, that once I realized that wouldn't be broken, I had to find my grandfather in other places, like the archive and like in Haiti itself.
Yeah, so when you get back from that trip, I mean, you begin this very long fight to declassify State Department files on your family. So tell us about that process. I mean, what did you find and what remains classified to this day?
Well, I found over 150 pages of documents where U.S. operatives in Port-au-Prince were spying on him, his activities, his goings, his speeches, and reporting back to Washington at the time. And when I found them, some of those documents were declassified, but 4 of them still remained redacted. So I did what anybody did, which is to sue. And then my appeal was rejected, so I had to go to federal district court and sue to have more of those reports unredacted.
Just thinking about Haiti and its history, how colonialism has really maybe stunted its growth, even though it's been an independent nation for over 200 years.
Most people don't understand that dire history. So first and foremost, once Haiti was free in the 1800s, France made it pay through the force of violence and gunboats what they called an independence debt. Also, Haiti's constitution, when the U.S. started colonizing it in 1915, was organized in a way, the banks, the tariffs, its economic output was organized in a way to profit U.S. business interests. And so we do see these ramifications to this day, even as we see mistakes that Haiti has made on its own since.
So then when I think of the full title of your book, Talk to Me, Lessons from a Family Forged in History, I mean, that history is something that I think maybe in this case is difficult to put in the rearview mirror.
One of the things I would love readers to take away from this book is always to be cognizant that history is happening as we live our lives. History is always happening as we are busy. So just not to sleepwalk through our lives and to kind of take certain political developments as a fait accompli. No, they are history. We are active agents in history. We're not kind of just passive victims of the news. We're not passive victims of elections. We're not passive victims of inaction by our leaders. And we are all constantly being forged by history.
Would you in some ways, or is it fair, Rich, to describe your book to be about silence and about the things that we hold back and don't tell the next generation about?
Yes, it's about silence. It's about silences between a mother and son. It's about silences between a grandfather and a mother. It's about state-sanctioned silences through the CIA in the way that silences build upon each other, compound each other, and make each other worse. And so what does it mean when you tell a political force or a family member, talk to me?
Rich Benjamin is a cultural anthropologist. His latest book is titled Talk to Me. Rich, thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me.
This message comes from Best Western Hotels and Resorts. From adventures to new places, Best Western has you covered. With over 4,000 hotels worldwide, you're sure to find the right hotel for your next getaway. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at bestwestern.com.
Support for this podcast and the following message come from Cunard, inviting you to take in the sounds of Alaska. Relax on spacious decks with 360-degree views as you cruise through Glacier Bay National Park. Hear the call of a bald eagle or the song of a humpback whale as you take in the beauty of Alaska's snow-capped mountains from your own private balcony. More at cunard.com/Alaska.
This message comes from eBay. Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.